Welcome to David and David on Real Estate. Join us as we explore the ins and outs of the real estate market.
Good morning and welcome to the David and David on Real Estate podcast. And we are on episode 36. Super excited today because we have a very big personality that's literally shaking it up in the real estate industry. We have Matt Lionetti.
Hello.
Welcome, Matt.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, no, we're super excited to have you on, and lots of changes, lots of things going on in the real estate industry. And Matt, you're a super big personality. You do a great job creating content and you keep everybody entertained. But why don't you give us a brief introduction?
Yeah, so my name's Matt Lionetti. I've been in the industry now coming on 6 years in October. Started doing this kind of funny video content 2.5 years ago. Prior to that, I was really doing nothing. I couldn't get anything going really. And I was actually almost on the verge of leaving the industry because I just couldn't get it going. About 3 years in probably. Then I thought I'd give it one last shot with this video stuff, which I've had these ideas since I got into the industry. But people just told me not to do it because it's unprofessional. So this was my last hurrah. And if it didn't work out, I was probably going to go back to selling sunglasses at Sunglass Hut.
Oh my God.
But it worked.
I'll tell you something. I probably would have been one of the guys saying, I'm not sure if it's the appropriate thing to do. I've sort of learned, even though you have those thoughts in your old school, sometimes it's so wrong because there's always something new, something that you can bring to the table, a new approach to it and get yourself out there. And it's fabulous. And I've been watching your videos in the last couple of days in anticipation of getting on with you. And I can't get the smile off my face, quite frankly. Like it's just one's funnier than the next one. Like they're just really, really entertaining.
Thank you.
Next time somebody asks me if this is real hardwood floor, I'm doing the Freddie Mercury. I still have it in my head, and I've watched that video probably like
oh my God
3-4 days ago, and it's just funny stuff. And love how you bring humor into it. Love how you bring the whole production sense into it, and it is very different than your typical real estate videos, right? So, incredible message out there, especially to newer agents. Right? Because newer agents struggle to find an identity and to really break into the business after, a short period of time. They don't know where they're going. They need a little bit of guidance. So to hear your story, Matt, I think is very important. And I think everybody kind of needs to hear it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for all that. For me, I got into the industry because I thought I had a good personality. And I think a lot of people get into the industry for that. We're not necessarily, we're not going to university for this career for 5 years or anything like that, right? A lot of people, it's their second career, not as much anymore. It's, coming more and more kind of to the forefront, first career for younger people now. But I got in because I thought I had a good personality. And then ironically, as soon as I got into the industry, I lost all my personality. And was my stumbling block right away. Like I couldn't understand. I was doing everything everyone else in my office was doing. I was cold calling, door knocking, sending mail outs, doing open houses, and nothing was working. And I couldn't understand why it was working for them and not me. Later in my career, I found, I just wasn't being myself at all. So, and people can read through that so clearly now. So as soon as I just thought, let me just do what I want to do. And if I crash and burn, I was going to leave anyways, but
at least you do it on your own terms, right? And authenticity is so important, like in life and business, like, if you lead with your heart, people feel that energy off of you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a lot of people say, Matt, your content's really funny, but it's not valuable. And I always say, well, I actually disagree because I get a lot of on the daily people messaging me, whether it's a client or another agent, and they just said, I was having a shitty day. I watched one of your videos and it really turned my day around. Thank you. So I make people feel something. I make people feel good. I think that's some of the most value you can bring. I think value is always wrapped up in statistics and analytical things, but I think you can bring value in other ways as well.
100%.
You certainly found a way to, to brand yourself and create an image of, that you're a good guy, you're a fun guy, you're a nice guy, you're into the industry, you care about the industry. Like all that does come across in the various videos. It's time, it's effort. And bottom line is your clients, your ultimate clients, because you are in the real estate industry. You're not in the video industry right now. That I'm not sure if that's going to change, but you have to build a trust with them. And as an agent, you just have to find a way to build a trust, because bottom line, they're going to count on you for advice on their real estate at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So you got to build that in at some point too, while you're branding yourself.
For sure. And I found what this has done for me personally is it's kind of broken down a barrier where, a lot of agents, people feel like they can't message because we'll pounce and we'll try and sell them something right away. Like a lot of things in sales. And a lot of the messages I get now is like, Matt, we feel like you're just super down to earth. You're not going to try and sell us on anything. We want an honest opinion on our home or this or that. And we just feel like you're the one who's going to give us that. So I think it's kind of the content's reaching a different clientele, like the kind of up and coming clientele for real estate, which is, the younger half of millennials, which I guess would be me. And I think I'm connecting well with them.
I think you're connecting well with all the different demographics. I mean, look at, David Korman and I mean, we're, very different demographics as well, but we both really enjoy your content, right? So, the way the content's made, I think everybody's enjoying it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Thank you. I actually have gotten a lot of, some people you wouldn't necessarily think would like the content have messaged me for like listing appointments and stuff. You really never know who's watching and who's going to kind of relate with the content. And as soon as I niched down on my content, my business got broader.
That's a great message.
I'm pushing the content to my kids, which are, more your generation, and my grandkids, even. Like, I got a grandkid that loves Freddie Mercury and videos, and he's gonna like die watching that one. So
yeah, I love Freddie. He's my favorite.
Yeah, what a personality too.
Yeah.
So Matt, how did you create your personal brand? Like, was that something that happened by accident? Was it, something that you sat down and you planned it out? How did you go through the process of actually creating such a powerful personal brand?
I was really going through, once I went solo, I was on teams for the first 2.5 years of my career. When I went solo, I was like, something needs to change, obviously, because this isn't working. And I was kind of just looking at different content. I'm very into Gary Vee, some other stuff. So I was like, maybe I go the inspirational route. Maybe, I didn't know what to do. I just knew I wanted to do content. I always had this, like I said, this comedy thing, but it was kind of tarnished at the time because everyone told me not to do it. So it was just kind of in the back of my mind. And then I filmed a couple of videos that never reached the platform of like some inspirational stuff. I was like, I'm not Tony Robbins. I can't do this shit. So took a step back and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I had a really terrible listing. It was my first listing as a solo agent. It was probably the worst listing I've had in my career still to date. Like all the appliances were broken. There's a hole in the roof. There's mold everywhere. And we were in a different market where, things weren't just flying off the shelf, kind of how they have been. So I was like, I need to market this. I need to get this out there. And I thought this was going to be one of those listings that just lingered and lingered and lingered. So I tried my first video idea, my comedy video idea. And I call it the shut the front door video. So I keep like almost swearing in the video. So like, hey, this is my listing. If you don't like it, you can and then I'd cut and be at the front door, like front door. And I keep going on like that. No production. I had no mic, nothing. My wife filmed it on my iPhone. I just had an idea that I thought was good. Released that right away. I got the most traction I'd ever gotten on social media. So right away, that was a win. Because like I said, nothing was working at first. So I was like, okay, tons of comments, likes. That's great. And then the house ended up selling with 3 offers in like 6 hours or 7 hours or something. And 2 of the offers came from the video, because the agents actually called me and said, "Hey, we saw your video. It's hilarious. We're going to go see it today." And 2 of those agents actually brought an offer. It sold over ask. And so once that happened, I was like, okay, I think there's something here. And it really just started as a joke. And then as I saw that, I was like, okay, I need to kind of explore this a bit more. And now it's kind of is what it is today. I've definitely taken more risks than I did at the beginning. I'm a lot more edgy and stuff. And it's just like each time, like couple months, you can kind of see me trying to get away with what I can get away with. And I like to be on that kind of line of, I like a bit of that shock value of like, oh shit, should he say that? Like, I like that. Yeah, a little bit. And then, I did that for the next couple months it didn't really do anything for my business, but I guess it did because it was growing my following, and it was growing like pretty good, a lot more than I ever had. And then that Freddie Mercury video in February is kind of the one that took off and changed like my entire career.
So that Freddie Mercury video, that was right at the beginning.
Yeah, I filmed the first video August 2020 or August 2019. Freddie came out February 2020. And that was Ryan Serhant like reached out. His team like did a whole, his team did like a whole like review of it, and like was like, oh, this is great. And he was like telling me all this stuff. And that's what brought me on their radar. And it's been crazy ever since.
That's so
funny
cool.
when you talk about who influenced you in certain aspects of someone's life, and you could say, well, I was influenced by Mike Myers and Austin Powers.
Yeah, exactly.
For creating that first one, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then the Freddie one was like literally, I totally agree with this. It's crazy where inspiration or something from your life can just like come and lend such a great hand to your career now. Because that Freddie video, probably like 9 or 10 years ago, I was in like a diner with my then girlfriend, now wife, and we're just like waiting for breakfast, and someone was like, Freddie. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Where are my eggs, man? And then like she came up, she's like, has anyone ever told you look like Freddie Mercury? And that's actually the first line of that video. And I was like, no, but like, he's my favorite. So I've really held on to that. And I took that as the utmost of compliments. And and then that, who would have thought that encounter would, blossom this video, which kind of changed my career.
Right. So that gives you the exposure and the followers and, that type of action. But now you still got to convert those people to real estate clients, right? So how do you do that? How do you say, okay, now people know you're really good at doing videos. How do you give them confidence that you're also going to be really good at selling their homes or helping buy a home?
Yeah. So that definitely is a great icebreaker. It makes people I always say it makes people feel like they know you before they know you. It's way easier to call someone you feel like you know. So I think right away it breaks down that barrier, and they actually message me. From a listing standpoint, they see the videos and they actually see the insights. And I use the insights now in my listing presentation because, now they're getting 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 views at a time organically with no promotion. So that's something I can offer that not everyone else can offer. And that's always what I'm looking for. Everyone's going to put the house on MLS and do an open house, but what's different? What's the angle? So from that, that standpoint, people love that their home's just going to get more exposure. And then from a buying standpoint, they just, I work with a lot of first-time buyers still. Ironically enough, though, that Freddie video got me like a $2.3 million buy, 2 lawyers from that. And like, again, people you wouldn't think would, and they just like the video. They like my energy. And then Yeah, of course. I follow it up once we get into things. Like I follow it up with real knowledge. These are just commercials. These are just commercials to get my name out there. Once I can start a conversation, that's all I'm trying to do with this content, is start a conversation. I say that over and over and over, because as soon as you get on camera, you say, hey, if you want to list now, because, you know, I'm going to do it for 1% or whatever. If that's your angle, you're done. You're done every time. But if you make like a commercial where it's based around real estate and it's funny, and maybe that happened to you in another transaction, someone messages me and says, hey, that video is really funny. Great. Now, to me, that's a lead. Now I got to nurture that lead. They've messaged me. They've come to me on their own terms. They know I'm a real estate agent. So now I build the relationship. It's not a quick game. People aren't messaging me after Freddie the day after and saying, oh, come list my house. But I mean, I think that's where people kind of can't wrap their head around it, that you still have to nurture the lead like you would a cold call or a door knock or an open house lead. And I think it's way easier because they message me, we start talking, and a lot of the times it's not even about real estate. And they'll say stuff. I wear a lot of band shirts as well. So I'm always just looking for ways to relate with people. And I've literally gone listing appointments for wearing Ramon shirts and Duran shirts and shit. Like, because, you know, they're like, hey, I love that shirt. I love the Ramones. Okay, great. That's my lead now in my inbox. Next week, if I see a Ramones video on Instagram, I send it to them. Hey, check out this video. This is awesome. That's another touch. So it's very strategic once you get them in. I mean, and then you just nurture the lead like anything else. And, you know, I've tracked to that Freddie video, I've tracked back probably $100,000 of commission from that. So, yeah.
Matt, I want the audience to really understand what the nurture looks like, right? Because I think you just said something that nails the nail on the head. People in this business expect instant gratification. You know, they put something out and they're like, you know, I want to get that listing. I want to get a buyer client. I want to, you know, get that transaction done, and I want it to happen tomorrow. And the minute it doesn't happen, they abandon ship and never go back there again. And then, you know, come into my office and say, oh my God, nothing's working for me. So give the audience a little bit of a background. How long does a nurture sequence take? Like, walk us through that. Does it take a month, 2 months, 3 months, a year? Talk to us about what that really looks like. Let's really dive deep and peel back some of those layers.
Yeah, it depends. Like, we also have to realize it's not about us. It's about them and what's going on in their life. Are they comfortable with selling now? Are we pressuring them into, like, I'm never pressuring someone into selling now. And fortunately, I'm at a point in my career now where, you know, I go into a listing appointment not needing the listing. You know, I of course want the listing, but I don't need it anymore. So it takes off that pressure off me, and it takes it off them. If someone goes in who's not having much success, they're going to pressure that person way more than I will. And I just closed the buy. I met him at my very first open house ever.
Really?
Ever.
Oh.
Like 3 weeks into my career, 5.5 years ago. I just closed that buy last week. It's easy. If you just check in it doesn't even have to be like, I know some people are very like once a week or twice a week. You need this many touches a month. I'm just super organic about it. I'm very, I don't do things really. I don't have like a really great system, which maybe I should. I'm not like super into my database and I know exactly what day I want to message them. I don't know. I remember, like, I just somehow remember what I'm doing. I put everything in my calendar and I kind of do it manually. Wow. That's my dog. Yeah. And so I don't know. It's just all really in the follow-up. So yeah, it could take, I've also had people who, I'm trying to think of some, been like 3 months. Like, I'm working with someone now. I'm going to be listing their house in like a week or two. It was just off a Instagram story that I did, one of my podcast clips. They messaged me. I was talking with Maya Vander from Selling Sunset. And they're like, oh, we love Maya Vander. And then great. That happened maybe in January or December. And now we're here. I'm going to list their house, going to sell for like 1.8. They're going to buy something for like 2.
Amazing.
So, it's all just, it's just, like I said, it's about them. So what are they comfortable with? And really ask that, because they'll like that. Everyone wants to be, nurtured, and they want to be talked to, and they want to be talked about. And that's another thing with nurturing and follow up. Like, I always ask about them, what they want, how they're doing, how their family is. It's not about, oh yeah, today I did this and this, and I've sold this much. And, like, I don't even bring any of that shit up ever.
I think you're making some excellent points here that any real estate agent should pick up on. And, it's funny, you have found a newer, different way of farming an area. But when you break it down, David knows about this. It's no different than, knocking on doors and just getting an area to farm and just planting all the seeds and putting all the cards there. And you don't know what the timing's going to be. Those seeds gotta give it a chance. You never know what's going to come back, and it could take months, it could take years, but you got to do it. You're just doing it a different way, a different approach to the same thing.
Yeah.
But I think the key thing that you said, and I love what you said, when you go and actually talk to the client, when you're doing the follow, it's not about you. It's not about what you can do for them, or it's not about, you're not going in there with the mindset, I got to go and get this listing. It's about me going to get this listing. It's how can I help you as a consumer? How can I help you sell? How can I help you buy? What's your situation? And when you take that type of approach with people, it's about you. And when you're ready, you're ready. I'll give you the pros and the cons, but going now or wait till next spring or wait for a year. When you're ready, we'll do it, right? It's not, I need the sale. I got to get this listing. It's not about that. Right? David knows that, like, people sense that right away, and they don't want to deal with that agent. They want the guy that's in it for them, not in it for themselves.
Yep. And that's where a lot of the referrals come as well. Once you do close that deal and they see how patient you were and how not pushy you were, because that's, unfortunately, that's kind of a reputation we have, is we're slimy, pushy, salesy people. So it's to some people who aren't really aware of all the great agents out there, it's almost shocking when they see someone who's just coming in to benefit them.
Matt, making the videos funny is super relatable, but what do you say to an agent who wants to put out content and who wants to put out videos that, doesn't have a funny bone in their system? How can they create content, and how can they create a really, big personal brand out there?
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing you can do, if you're like naturally just not funny and you've never really been that person, don't try and do it in front of everyone. That's just not, I've seen a lot of people do it now, and it's very hard to watch sometimes, because you can tell they're uncomfortable. And they're just not being themselves, and it's not going to translate. Like, I've always just loved to make people laugh. That was a big part of my personality. So what I would say, if someone's not necessarily funny, I always say, talk to your friends and your family. Literally ask them, what characteristics do you like about me? Am I the analytical one? Am I quirky? Am I like bubbly? Like anything that kind of, what makes, me gravitate, you gravitate towards me, and literally ask them that. Are you witty? And then whatever they say, try and bring that quality of yours into your video while being natural, because there's tons of creative content that's not funny. There's very informative content that's just, 3 ways to sell your home, but they just do it in a different way, and they do it in their voice. And you're going to attract, the people who are like you. And that's what I've done. I attract kind of the people who appreciate the humor side and the creativity and stuff like that. And there's a lot of people who don't like it because I swear and I do all that shit. And that's fine. I've realized you're not going to get them all. So niche down and just try. And I really feel like in today's world, especially for a new agent, it's going to be very hard to succeed without some sort of social media plan. It doesn't have to be your main thing, but I really think, a lot more people are going to TikTok or going to Instagram to literally find agents. This is like the new age of things. It doesn't mean you should stop door knocking and cold calling and whatever you do, but like, I don't know, just like, I think you should add that to your business. And if you can find a way to do it in your voice, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be you on camera if you're really uncomfortable. Like I've seen, great agents just kind of take their phone through a cool luxury property in 30 seconds and they speed it up and they put it to a trending song, and people like seeing that stuff.
Yeah. There's so many things out there that, people need to relate to. Like, for example, if you're a basketball fan, maybe you do a 30-second summary of, what happened with the Raptors that night and, tie it back into real estate. And, real estate is so mainstream in the city of Toronto. Like everybody's talking about it, even the Raptors, right?
Yeah.
Like even when you're watching the Raptors game, like at least once or twice, the commentators mention, oh, what a great city Toronto is. And, then they're doing the interview with the players and the players are saying, oh, I love Toronto and I love being here. And, Toronto has the prettiest women and the best restaurants. And, like that is all content that's amazing for our industry. And it's putting Toronto on the map in such a big way, right?
Yeah. You got to find, that's another thing, add your passions, your hobbies into your page.
100%.
For sure. If you're a huge Toronto Raptors fan, do your research, find out what they bought, and do videos on it.
Yeah.
Hey, this person just bought this for 20 million in Toronto. Hey, take a look at. I know Drake's not a should be at this point, a Raptor, but this is Drake's
honorary one.
$100 million mansion. Like that shit. That's always, people are always interested in celebrity real estate. So if that's something you're truly passionate about, I have a friend in Atlanta who gets all his business because he's a Porsche enthusiast. He has Porsche Facebook pages. He does Porsche meetups. And obviously, if you're buying a Porsche, I would assume you could buy a house. I mean, if not, if you have a Porsche and you're living in your parents' basement, you're probably not doing it right.
Porsche, maybe.
Yeah. But, those are high-end, clientele. So for him to pair his and it's a real passion. It's not that, show off type thing where it's like, oh, look at my car and my watch
Right.
and my Gucci belt. It's not that. It's like you can tell he's truly passionate about these cars, which is great. And I love seeing that. And most of his business comes from that. He's literally just having fun. He's just doing what he loves to do, and he's making money by making connections.
Well, that's sort of what brings the three of us together here today is that we're all going to be participating in the Buzz conference next week, and and you're someone, I'm sure they grabbed right away. We got to get Matt into this Buzz conference. Like you're the exact type of person that they need speaking all day there, and telling your story, what you do, how you do it, and everything. So you'll be on for a session in the morning or the afternoon there. What do they got you scheduled for?
Yeah, I got a morning solo session, power personality. I talk about, exactly that, power personality and social credibility, and what it can do for your business, your career. And then I'm on a panel in the afternoon, like a social media
swear when you're at the Buzz conference. Are you going to be like really yourself out there and really show agents, the authenticity, or are you going to hold back a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it just comes out. Like I either swear or sometimes I don't as much. It just depends. Probably normally when I for my friends who really know me, like I actually keep the swearing, like tame it in the videos. I mean, I'm not going to hold back. Certainly won't hold back. There's been times where they won't even hire me for a conference. So what Virginia's done, Virginia is amazing at the Buzz conference. She called me and said, do what you do and be yourself.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that. And I've appreciated everything she's done for me. Because I've had a lot of people say, we can't have him. No way. But, I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, I certainly won't hold back. So just depends how I'm feeling. The crowd's really amping me up. I'm going to
Yeah.
go full Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, the authenticity is really what got you to where you are right now. And I mean, you've tried it the other way and it
Yeah.
didn't work,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah, it just didn't work for me. And like, that's the other thing. Everything I say and do is an opinion. It's worked for me. It's not necessarily, when I got into the business, people made it like it was a one size fit all. You know, how do I get business? Door knock. Okay. So I go door knock. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but like, that doesn't, not everyone's good at door knocking. Not everyone's good at cold calling. So I really recommend people try everything and try for enough time where you're going to actually be able to track results. Don't try it for a week and say it doesn't work, but you have to figure out what you're good at. Cause I hated door knocking, and like I was praying to God they wouldn't answer the door. I was mortified. This is the worst door knocker of all time. Obviously you want them to answer the door. I did not want them to answer the door. I was just doing it to say I did something that day. So if you're going out with that mentality, you're never going to get business. Same with cold calling.
No chance.
You got no chance. But if you go with the mentality of if they don't use me, I'm doing them a disservice if I don't go talk to them today. You know, if you go with that type of mentality, like I feel like I can offer something that no one else can. Me personally, I feel like I can go up against any agent in a listing appointment and win. I don't care. And I think every agent should feel that way. I don't care if I'm out of, my normal market. If someone sells every single house on that street, I feel like I can always win the listing presentation. And I think people should, like I said, always feel that way. So yeah, see what you do for your lead gen, like figure it out. And I just think social, like I said, that social credibility is just going to be more and more prominent as it evolves.
You also have to have a certain amount of comfort or confidence in yourself, in your approach too. You can't be afraid of not making the sale or not making that connection with someone. You can't go in fear of that. We discussed that in our law firm with our younger lawyers too. When they try and go out and try and get this, they're afraid of having that approach or losing someone. And I'm trying, no, you have to talk to them the way, like, let me see if we have capacity to take on your file, because we're so busy and I got so much to do. So you want to make them feel like they're succeeding if they get you to take on their business, not the other way around. Yeah. Right? Like, we got our thing going here. We got a great thing going here, and let's see if we can fit you in, because we can. Good for you, not good for us. Yeah. Right. But it's really hard when you're young to have that confidence to think in those terms, right? Yeah, absolutely. I had none of that. And I'll talk about some of my door knocking experiences at the Buzz, because they're a nightmare. Although my first listing did come from a door knock. So I talk about it but I did get a listing, one, and it sold. So that was good. But yeah, absolutely. It's hard to have that confidence, obviously, because you don't have anything to back up your confidence, really. Well, but you do have your personality, and that you're going to care, and you have a compassion for it, and you're going to fight like hell to get the job done for them. Yeah. And they just have to know that, once they take you on, you're their guy, and you're going to go with it. You're going to get them the best results they can. And they can talk to you when there's an issue. You're approachable. Yep.
We talk about this a lot at my brokerage. We talk about the difference between abundance and a scarcity approach, right? And if you approach business from an abundance point of view, that you're not worried where your business is coming from, you're not desperate, there's so much business out there, and you portray that and people feel that feeling off of you, it's very different than when you're coming from it from a scarcity point of view. I'm going to fight for this one client. It's my client. I'm not going to share. I'm not going to, talk about some of the ideas I have with my colleagues. Like, it creates a very different culture when you transact yourself and carry yourself that way. So when you approach things from an abundance point of view, I think business really changes drastically very quickly as well.
Totally. and like I said, I'm fortunate now that, I mean, I have a lot of passive income from these that stem from these videos with our podcast and our merch, and we have a course coming out and stuff like that. So I don't really have to, like I said, that's kind of, my bills are paid from that now, which I've always wanted. I've always wanted that passive income. And then real estate just kind of be that fun money or whatever, and just do it for fun. And it makes it way more enjoyable because I don't actually take on everyone. Like before, when I was just starting, I was obviously taking anything I could get, any client. And some of them were nightmares. And it was just like, I was taking listings that were way overpriced because I didn't know how to talk and negotiate the proper price that we should list at, stuff like that. And it was just wasting my time, my money. Some people terminated on me early on, and now I can kind of sense that. And if someone wants to list at a way high price and they're not budging, I'm not, I don't have time for that shit. I'm not going to be there 6 months later asking for price reductions. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. And that's exactly where you want to be. You want to be able to, work with people that are enjoyable to work with, and again, it comes from that abundance point of view. You have people knocking on the door, you're busy, you're going places, you're an influencer in the industry. And it's a great position to be in, to be able to pick who you work with and what that looks like. And not a lot of agents have that opportunity.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's very, very fortunate to have that, because it's always what I've wanted.
I think you've flipped the door knocking. Instead of you knocking on someone else's door, you got them knocking on your door now. Hey, can I come in? Can you can I use you? Can you please take me on? Right? They're knocking on your door. You flipped it completely by having this approach, by getting yourself out there and creating this brand.
Yeah.
And can you use my house to create a video, please? Here are the keys. I don't know what you're going to come up with, but I want my house to have 400,000 views on TikTok. Go for it.
That's the thing. I mean, people say a lot. They're like, "Oh, your video is kind of like our souvenir of our old house," And a lot of these houses are like, their family home for 20 years or whatever. So like they want something where, and I always joke, most people are given fucking fridge magnets. I'm giving full blown videos. It's just, I'm not charging enough, but yeah. So that's kind of, it is cool. And there was some Inman article that came out a couple years back, and I don't know the exact percentage, but it was a high percent, like 75 or 80% said they would consider using an influencer as their real estate agent. And when I saw that article, I was like, that's super interesting. Because I think people like that. And going back to that social credibility, like, where we live in a world where followers do kind of matter. And if they're real, I mean, everyone can see through if you're just buying 100,000 followers and you have 2 likes on your picture. But if you have like a real following, an organic following that's engaging, and it's not, it's not the end all be all, but it definitely helps when people go see and they're like, oh shit, like what's going on here? And then they see the stuff I've done with Ryan Serhant, and I've had, Maya Vander on my podcast, and Selling Sunset people and $1 Million Listing people. They're like, oh wow, he's, and it builds a certain type of credibility that, I think helps, and anything helps for when you're trying to get some sort of lead.
Do you find one type or a couple types of social media are better than others, or like, do you lean one way or the other? You're trying to get it everywhere?
I'm mainly Instagram, and I do a lot of Instagram reels. That's what's really popping off on Instagram right now. I really focus on what's the trend on Instagram. And right now it's reels. Instagram's really pushing that. And they even came out a couple months ago and said, we're going to be pushing video way more than photo. So I think, when they actually say that, you got to make a change, because they're not going to be pushing photo like they used to. And those just listed, just sold stuff, I just put those in my highlights at the top of my page because that shit kills engagement. Honestly, you see so much of it to the point where I could see 10 people's pages and not know who's who in terms of realtors and teams. It's just, I just don't think it's effective anymore. I think you need to show your credibility, but I think there's more creative ways to do it. And I think you can do it with video, and have like a thumbnail so that just sold still shows up in the thumbnail when people come to your page, but then you click on it and it's a video and maybe you tell a story, I met these people here and they were this and they were going through this and we got them this price. Just a quick story or a testimonial. I think everything's more visual. It's fast paced. If you don't have a hook within 2 seconds, you're done and you're scrolled past. So it's very strategic. I don't just do these videos and hope for the best. Like I'm very strategic about it. And I know I have to keep hooking people every 3 to 4 seconds or they're out. And I know that, pretty much all my videos now have to be under 30 seconds or they're out. You just need to understand the trends of what's going on now. And with the world of TikTok, that's what's going on. And Instagram bringing out Reels was their kind of how they're competing with TikTok now. So yeah, I've jumped on that huge.
So you start doing this with your wife filming you with her phone.
Yeah.
But I'm sure at this point you've advanced and like now you have a whole production crew following you around, or how you doing it now?
Yeah, I've a production crew for some of my like more in-depth ideas. My wife still films some of them. I have like 2 nice cameras now that I bought. I have mics and the whole editing thing. I edit a lot of them on my own still, just because, whatever. But yeah, like the listing videos and stuff are all my production team now, and I just see the benefit in it, and they cost whatever they cost, but I definitely make that back, whether it's from a direct real estate transaction or just different sponsored things or affiliates.
Awesome. And Matt, now you're moving on as well, and you're starting to get involved with creating content for other agents. So, that's really exciting. And I always say that whoever translates to the point where they actually help other agents and influence their business and help them achieve higher levels of success is kind of moving on to the next stage of their career. And it's the progression that every leader kind of goes through, right? So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot more speaking and kind of helping agents that way. And I just want I really want people to understand like what I do is definitely gonna be different from what they do, but it's different also in the sense that I'm creating I'm creating content for real estate, but I'm also creating it for that media company and for entertainment value as well, because I'm building different things. But what I really want, and I don't go the motivational approach, like you need to get on Instagram, you need to post. Like, I don't do that. I can't stand speakers like that. It's just like, I don't know. It's passé to me. When I speak, I talk a lot from experience. I tell a lot of stories and I try and spark something in them because that's what I needed. And everything I've done to this point, I took a step back and I said, well, what do I want to see? What do I want? And I think everyone should ask themselves that question, because I gravitate towards funny commercials. I'm more likely to use a company who has a funny commercial on TV, like Geico or some shit. But that's all I try and do is spark something, and not like, oh, I need to go out and do funny content on TikTok and social media. No, that's not it. Just like, he did. Oh, that's cool. Well, maybe I can just add this little bit to what I'm already doing. Or, social media, that's cool. Well, I'm door knocking already. So why don't I farm? I'm already farming an area. Why don't I target market that area on social media now? So I go and I give them, or even have a QR code on my pamphlet I give them. So I give them a flyer. If they don't throw it out, they click that QR code. It brings them to my social media. If they don't click that QR code, I'm target marketing them anyway. So they're going to open Instagram and probably see me. So there's different ways. I just want to like create that kind of like aha moment by just telling stories and what I've done. I always tell people like, I'm not an expert. I'm not a guru. I'm none of that. I'm someone who saw an opportunity and took the opportunity. And anyone, if they work hard enough and are consistent enough, can get some sort of results, whatever results they want. It was my plan as I started unfolding and seeing how this content was going. I wanted to create a podcast. I wanted, those different avenues of income. And that's what I work towards. If you're solely just want more business in real estate, it's going to work for that too. But you have to have a direction and a vision.
Great advice, man. Great advice.
Yeah. Now, you still got to get the real estate transaction done at the end of the day too, right? While you're still in the real estate business. I could see you getting out of that at some point in the future because you'd be too busy, doing this and being an influencer to others. But for now, you're still doing the transactions, right? So you still got to divide your time, and it's a lot of time to do all this stuff. To do your own podcast, to attend stuff, to do other people's podcasts. Like, we really appreciate you jumping on this one. To be at stuff like the Buzz conference, and you said you're going to New York to do a conference too. That all takes a lot of time, but you still got to find time to hold your client's hand and get them through their actual real estate transaction. That's a lot of juggling.
Yeah, a lot of juggling, but it's all content as well. People don't understand that this is content. Content isn't always a scripted video, or this is great content. Right. So if someone comes on a podcast or just starts their own podcast and talks to a friend and really like touches on points, and you post that on Instagram with 15 seconds, like that's content. So yeah, we're spending an hour or whatever doing this, but there's going to be content to break up, and that could get you future business.
Right.
So yeah, I think people have to first see the value in it. I feel like a lot of people don't really see the value. They just think you're goofing around on social media, and that's fine. That's, not everyone's going to get it right away, but it doesn't always have to take so long. I think my best, I have a video with over 400,000 views. I filmed it in my car, and it was 15 seconds long, and it took me 15 seconds to record as I was, I bought groceries, came in, had an idea. And it was a video of me saying, like, people say real estate agents are going to be replaced by robots. And, then I go to the Walmart self-checkout line and I see people can't type in the code of their tomatoes. And I say, I think we're good. And it was literally coming from Walmart. And it got, that got me a lead actually from Australia. People messaged me off that, and they said, hey, we're coming out to Toronto. We're moving to Toronto. My wife's originally from Toronto. We're moving back. We'd love for you to help us. That took 15 seconds. Amazing. On the way home from groceries. So it doesn't have to be this full-blown thing. If you have an idea, act on it.
I think Gary Vee was the first one to really break down how to create content and how to post content for different social media platforms, and how to repackage, reuse, repurpose content. I mean, he, the master slide deck that he created on content creation was genius in my opinion. And, it's something that I reference all the time as well, but more people should take a look at it and really understand, how that kind of breaks down, and, how you can take an hour long keynote or podcast and, write a blog article and extract content for, Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all the other, social media out there. But, from this hour-long podcast that we did, I mean, there's tons of great content that we came up with that, we can elaborate on, we can write blogs on, we can repurpose and use to, motivate people, show people how to level up their career, how to attain higher levels of success. And, that's what it's all about. And the other beautiful thing about content is it never sleeps. It's out there 24/7. If people can't sleep at 4 a.m, they can open up YouTube and watch videos. If people are driving to their cottage, they can listen to the podcast in their car. One of my realtors, I called her the other day, and she says to me, she starts laughing, and I'm like, Patricia, why are you laughing? And she's like, oh my God, David, you're like a celebrity in our household. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, every single time the kids get into the car, they roll their eyes. They're like, oh, here's David and David again on the radio.
Yeah.
And all she does is, wherever she goes, she listens to the podcast, but it's helping her level up her career, which is exactly, what we wanted to happen.
I talk about that exactly in my, when I talk, it's you have the ability to duplicate yourself, and you, every time you make a video, you make a new team member for you, which is you, because you're living there. And now I'm here, but I have hundreds of videos working for me right now. I don't know who's watching videos right now of me and who's thinking maybe I should message this guy. So think about it that way.
Talk about the leverage, right?
Yeah,
It's cloning.
Inception shit.
You're cloning yourself.
Yeah, cloning. I know everyone's always like, "Oh, I wish I could have another me on my team." Well, you do now. You can.
Right.
Again, it's your Austin Powers influencer. You're getting your little mini me's out there all over the place.
Maybe that had a bigger influence on me than I thought.
Well, why don't you, I don't know how much, we don't have a lot of time left, but why don't you tell us a little about your latest, greatest, the next thing that you're working on?
Yeah.
An opportunity to that.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a creative partner with the Broke Agent Media. We're bringing out our full media company now with a bunch of different amazing agents, broke agents involved, obviously. Byron Lazine, who's a fantastic agent, has a huge team. Dan O'Neill, again, amazing agent, has a huge team. Jason Cassidy, just a lot of really high-end, high-level agents. And we're going to be we want to be the Barstool Sports of real estate. So we want to bring real estate news and just create content that's entertaining and easy to consume. So we're going to be bringing out a bunch more podcasts with it, different shows, blogs, vlogs, anything you can think of, we're going to have. We have a lot of great people who are also going to be backing it. And yeah, it's going to be launched in like the next 2 weeks. It's also going to be launched with a real estate course. We wanted to have kind of an interactive, funny course. So we have this course led by Byron Lazine, who is just a monster out in the States. And like I said, has a huge team. And what we really wanted to do is, a lot of that real estate content is sometimes hard to consume. So we wanted to make it a little lighter. So Eric, the broke agent, and I actually act out a lot of the scenarios and kind of make it fun and more entertaining and engaging, so people can actually consume the content but be entertained at the same time.
That's amazing. That sounds really cool. So how can agents get involved in that?
Well, it's all going to be launched in the next couple of weeks. So watch out for it. You can look on my page. There's going to be updates, everything. And we're going to be, with the media company, we're going to be offering like different Zoom calls and conferences and stuff like that. And we're going to have people for anything. If you want to cold call, you want to door knock, you want to grow your social media, you want a social media plan, we're going to have people who cover every aspect of it. So if that's something you're interested in as well, just look out, because I really think this is going to be a big thing in the industry.
Well, listen, Matt, I'm going to give you my commitment. I'd love to have you guys in my brokerage and help you guys promote your course and what you guys are offering and your training to my agents. Sutton Summit has always been a little bit of an influencer when it comes to getting people in and offering some of these products first to the marketplace. So I'd love to have that conversation, and I'd love to introduce you guys to my agents and offer offer those services to them.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. I'd love that.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to see you in person at the Buzz conference next week, or just a week tomorrow. And we're doing a couple live podcasts there in the morning, maybe at the same time you're speaking. But we're also doing a live seminar in the afternoon as well. So we're around for the day. So we hope to cross paths with you there.
We will. Maybe I'll crash your podcast.
Absolutely.
That'd be amazing.
Absolutely. We know it'll be better.
Maybe that's going to get 600,000 views on social media.
Yeah, maybe. I'm on a panel with, I don't know their last names. It's a great panel. I don't want to say, I forget. some of the last names, so I don't want to forget, but it's a
But
fantastic
what's the-
channel.
you
It's
talking
social
about-
media, and it's moderated by Tom Story, who's an absolute
Ooh, yeah, I love
killer.
Tom.
He's crushes. He's so good.
Yeah, Tom's really awesome too, and he has a more of a mainstream approach, right? But like the content that he creates is amazing, and people love his stuff as well. So he's one of those influencers I met the first time I went to that buzz, and I've been following him since. And watching him evolve and create his video course and where he's going is just is just really amazing. I love watching
crushes.
people's journey, right?
Yeah.
Like that's it's a lot of fun, and especially people are passionate or as passionate about real estate as we are. It's great.
Yeah, I agree. No, I'm really excited to meet you both in person. And yeah, I'll try and crash something.
Cool.
Get a good little,
Disappointing if you don't now.
yeah, get a good little 5 to 10 second clip. It'll blow up.
I love it. We got to prepare ourselves, Dave. We got to have something up our sleeves when that comes around.
Yeah.
Matt, this is amazing. Thank you so much for jumping on. It was an absolute pleasure having you on and diving deep and peeling back the layers, as well as hearing your story. And again, you're one of those influencers that I am gonna absolutely enjoy watching and seeing you keep growing. And I'm super excited to learn that you're growing, you're helping other people reach higher levels. All the power to you. And again, if anything, if there's anything I can do to help on the Sutton Summit level, I'd love to get you involved with the agents as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Matt.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.